How could you understand an organism in its entirety if you just study the surface? How can you understand the fruit if you don't understand the kernel? How can you understand anything if you don't have a global vision? You don't understand anything, and you will interpret it according to your own mental frame. And you can see the modern world's mental frame is fear. It's fears, nature itself. Therefore, when modern science or modern medicine decides that it wants to study the human body, it studies it with fear, with the paradigm that nature is against you, so they see everything from that lens. Great. So I'm not saying they're not seeing what they're seeing. Let us give them the benefit of the doubt, because this is another conversation, right? Because there's a lot of fucking scams in their world, and interpretations upon interpretations upon interpretations, and I will be delighted to talk to you about this and make a killing out of it, okay? Because it's all a load of shit. But let's pretend, for the sake of conversation, that they're perceiving what they're perceiving. Great, I have no problem with that. My issue is your interpretation. You're interpreting what you're seeing according to your lenses, and your lenses is that nature is evil, must be controlled, and that you are the divine controller. And it is your interpretation that is true. It couldn't be anything else, because you are endowed with truth. It is you. Sounds like a priest to me. Now I ain't got a problem with that. I don't give a fuck, man. You do what you want to do and you believe what you want to believe. I'm just smart enough to say that doesn't work for me. You know why it doesn't work for me? Because the outcome of your philosophy is fear. So with all that knowledge, all I have is fear. That's all I get. So as a child, what do you learn? There's a thing called a virus. It's going to attack you and fucking kill you. It's going to kill everybody you love. It's going to eat them. You tell me as a kid that it's not literally a horror story. That's fear. But fear not. Medicine can do something about it. Thank God. But God doesn't exist. So I don't know who to thank, but thank somebody. So everything they're teaching is fear, 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 fear. That's what you receive, fear. So I'm like, well, if that works for you, if you enjoy that fear, and you enjoy feeling safe in the hands of the person who taught you to fear everything, think about this. I'm going to repeat it again. You just take it at face value that everything they're teaching you is the truth. I'm not going to deny it. We can break it down and we can have a long-ass conversation. I'm going to make you shit in your pants. We're not going to do that today. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, well, they're perceiving something, I said, but they're interpreting what they're seeing. Have you ever read a book and you understand it some way and another person understands it another way? Have you ever watched a movie? Interstellar. Oh, that's a classic. It's amazing. Everybody sees it and everybody understands something different. Well, what's the truth? What's reality? Well, at the end of the day, who fucking cares? The goddamn fucking movie. It's not going to change nothing in your life. But when it comes to life, that means everyday life, nature, there is a reality. So you presume that the person who's teaching you their modern science is their interpretation is truth. I'm like, but says who? What's the outcome of their interpretation? I'm telling you, fear. That's what you receive. Be scared. Your body's stupid. And if it's not for us, thank God you're there. You're in trouble. Look at what just happened for the past 2 years. Do I need to even mention it? Fear. To even have such a conversation, you have like at least 60-70% of the population can get scared because they'll be like, you can't say that. Because these are facts. I'm like, you haven't studied medicine. You don't know the history of medicine. You don't know fuck all. Let's not get into that. You see, I'm getting nervous when we talk about this because it's bullshit. Let me just come back to my center and say it's a question of interpretation. Everybody interprets things according to their paradigm. The question is now, when you receive that interpretation, how do you feel? Well, I'll tell you, this scares me. I feel fear. Which means that when this is not like there's a monster outside, I'm scared, I'm going to go get big muscles, I'm going to learn Kung Fu, I'm going to kick his ass. No. This is something invisible that nobody sees. Not even their stupid fucking electron microscope. Nobody can see it. They don't even know what they see. So it's so invisible, as God knows, you don't even know if it's there. This is even debatable. And that shit can attack you and fucking kill you. I mean, that's like, what are you going to do about it? You can't do kung fu. You can't even take a fucking medication. And you like to live in such a paradigm. So you know why you live in such a paradigm? Because you have no sense of life, nature, or reality. You don't know her, nature, that is. Because if you understood nature, you would never believe this. I'm like, look at nature's bounty. Look at nature's genius. Look at nature's brilliance and magnificence. I'm not telling you like studying with your intellect. I'm like, you're experiencing it. I'm like, how could something so magnificent be so fucking stupid? I ain't never seen a squirrel being scared. Study. Go spend some time. Watch water. Watch a duck. Watch a tree. Watch something. You'll see. So again, I'm gonna try to keep it simple because I can go off. I apologize. What I'm trying to tell you is that the interpretation you're receiving gives you what sensation? Fear. In my reality, in the world I live in, I have a fundamental thesis. Whatever the hell you want to call God, that means the supreme power at the very base of creation. That supreme power. It's perfect. It doesn't make any mistakes. Its purpose is not to make me miserable. So as it says in the Bible, God is love and love is God. The question is, what is God? We don't know what God is, but we know it's the supreme intelligence at the base of the entire creation and beyond. That's easy to understand. Everybody can understand this. I think you understand. So that's my fundamental hypothesis. That power is benevolent. In benevolence, it can express itself in darkness or light. Now you can interpret things according to your paradigm, your understanding. But that's non-negotiable. For me, that's non-negotiable. That's my premise. So when now I study things, I'm like, well, if this scares me, that means I must be blind to a deeper reality and a greater intelligence. So it's on me now to figure it out. It's on me to perceive and penetrate the mystery so that I can discover that genius. Because that genius is so obvious. Look around you. I used to say this back in the days when I used to do conferences. I'm like, so this guy and that girl were horny, decided to bang, and out of nowhere, 9 months later, there's a new human being that appeared out of nowhere. There was no human being, and now there's literally a new human being appeared 9 months later out of nowhere. Presto. It's not like you had a pie and some dough and you made and sugar and you made a pie and put it in the oven. No. Just we were horny, you stuck your cock in some bitch, and next thing you know, there's another human, male, female, or they, that appears out of nowhere. And you mean to tell me that that's not obvious, that there's a genius that is supreme, that no fucking human being can fathom or understand? This is so obvious. Just, oh, here we go again. Oh, this is so boring. We did this in the first sessions. Sit, look around. There's the sun. Whatever the fuck you think the sun is doing what it's doing. And who the fuck is making it do it? It's so perfect, you can measure it by a clock. Its rhythm is perfect. Oh yeah, it's stupid. Nature is stupid. Nature makes a mistake. I'm like, really? Isn't it obvious that it's brilliant? It's whatever it is definitely more brilliant than me and you, or whatever me and you think we are. So if you're not intelligent enough to perceive this and see like, well, there's clearly infinite intelligence at the base of this motherfucker I'm in. So you mean to tell me that suddenly that infinite intelligence is stupid to make that nature, my own body wants to kill me? And I'm going to buy into that bullshit. I'm like, well, you must be dumb. That's all I got to say. Now, I can appreciate that you say, yeah, I'm scared because I'm ignorant. And then now we are having a good conversation. You are ignorant. Ignorance is the mother of all diseases. Yeah, disease, you suffer because you're ignorant. So why don't you go gain knowledge, which is the medicine? And where the hell are you going to get that medicine from? If it ain't directly at the temple of God, the temple of life, the human body, where else are you going to go learn in a goddamn fucking book? Enough with the books. Go study the book of life, which is the human body, and it's going to start to teach you. Now, you need some help? Go find yourself a teacher who's going to teach you how to study the book of life. No problem. You can have all the assistance you need. And then guess what's going to reveal to you? I'm like, no, your interpretation, that little shallow interpretation that these psychopaths have, it's a con. And it's designed to keep you stupid. And it's designed to keep you outside of the temple of God so that you remain a slave like a bitch that you are. I get spicy. That's why I don't talk about this stuff. I just like, let's go listen to a Drake song and just feel happy. Again, when you receive some data from somebody, let's say it's modern medicine, it's the authority of authorities. What is the outcome of that body of knowledge? Fear. That's what you get. So why do you want to subscribe to a newsletter that's constantly teaching you to be scared? I'm like, I'm unsubscribing. Now, I didn't say you skip this one to go live in fantasy, magical thinking life is amazing and it's easy and all you got to do is be happy and you're not going to have disease. I'm like, did I say that? Or did I pretend that disease doesn't exist? Disease does exist. I'm not in denial. I'm saying why. There's a reason. And I will not accept to live in a world when the obvious self-evident truth needs no fucking proof. It is very obvious. It's so obvious for anyone who bothers to look outside. Look at the moon for 2 seconds. I mean, you mean to tell me that this is stupid? Who made it? Put it there. How does it move? Why does it move? Oh, it's stupid. Look at the sun for 5 seconds. Look at an ant. Take one of your pubic hair and stare at it. I don't know, but look at something for 5 seconds. It's stupid. You're stupid. Your brain has become numb and dumb because you've been conditioned to be a moron, so you can't see the obvious. And the obvious is that there's a genius. You now, for some reason, have lost the connection, the conscious connection to that genius. And that is why when somebody tells you that the obvious is stupid, you're like, yeah, you're right. And then they talk with their language that you barely fucking understand, and you're like, well, and you blabber and you start repeating the bullshit they just told you to justify and to prove that the body is stupid and that you're a victim. How convenient. Here you are, a victim again. So I'm sorry, I don't buy into this bullshit. If this works for you, like I said, enjoy, live that life. For me, it's very obvious. Any intelligent person, any sane person could very clearly see this makes no sense. It makes no sense. What you're saying and what I'm observing doesn't match. Now, I may be in ignorance, which is causing me to have fear, which means disease. Now, it's my job, my choice, to want to go on a journey to acquire knowledge, which is not data or information that you read in a fucking book. It's not, knowledge is power. It is a current of power. And I'm going to go connect myself to that current of power, which is going to quote unquote enlighten me so that the disease can fade away and can establish myself in the genius, in the supreme intelligence that is governing all, which will appease me, sustain me, support me, love me, enlighten me, guide me, so I can live a life of peace rather than fear. It's up to you. I don't care what you do, changes nothing in my life. But I'm going to be honest because you can see that this conversation riles me up because it's a blasphemy to insult God. This for me is an insult to God. This is for me is an insult to the goddess. You can say whatever the fuck you want about whichever fucking so-called holy book as much as you like. This is a book. I don't give a fuck. But when you talk about the human body, you're really insulting the holy book of God. And it annoys me because what the fuck do you know to say something about that? You haven't even bothered to study it. You haven't, listen carefully, my little friend, you haven't even been admitted in the school. Because you think you can just go to do whatever the hell you want, right? You're gonna go apply to U of T or McGill or Harvard and you're gonna get accepted like this because you can cheat with your no. You didn't even get admitted at the school of life, man. You didn't get admitted at the most basic school because you are an unreverend individual. So it doesn't want you. You don't have admittance, you remain on the outside. And that's why you live in stupidity and ignorance and you believe these lies that their outcome is pain, suffering, fear, and consumption of shit that make you sick. And then we're going to have a debate with Joe Rogan on the efficiency of nonsense. Because we have to consider all options. I'm like, are you stupid? You want to put poison in you and you think it's going to be good for you? Well, there's like proofs that sometimes when you inject poison in you, it's good for you. Well, you do whatever works for you. You keep it up, my friend. If that works for you, I wish you the best. God bless you. What do I know? I know nothing. I'm just a guy with a yellow shirt today. No problem. I don't want to live in such a world. I recommend for you that you consider what position you're in. I'm like, do you want to live in fear? If you don't want to live in fear, then you have to go towards knowledge, and knowledge is a journey. And it's all about respect. And I'm telling you, I'm teaching you the most fundamental things I've learned. It takes me a long time to understand. Respect. You ain't got no respect for something greater than yourself. You do not get admitted at the school. You remain on the outskirts. Therefore, you will not receive knowledge. And then you will shove in your brain bullshit data written by God knows who, and who cares how brilliant they are. It's borrowed knowledge. You don't fucking know. So guess what? That knowledge doesn't appease you. It doesn't touch you. It doesn't move you, because it ain't real. It's not real knowledge. Knowledge is alive, and it circulates through you, not in your intellect. It's a power like electricity, and you don't have access to it, so that you don't have real appeasement, real sustenance inside of you that nourishes you, helps you to see the light, dare I say. So whatever works for you, like I said, this doesn't work for me. So once again, I'm going to reiterate this because it's super important, and hopefully I'm not going to have to talk about this again. When you receive bullshit, how does it make you respond? Fearful. Why do you accept this? You just got infected with a virus. And the virus isn't some invisible shit flying around. It's a thought. A false thought that invaded your system. And it invaded your system because you're weak. And you're weak because you're not rooted in reality. And you can't protect yourself with the sword of truth because you ain't have one. You don't even need to draw it, that sword of truth, because it's just shielding you, because bullshit is bullshit. I'm like, really? Like, I'm going to buy into this nonsense? And I'm going to use my intellect to try to sort it out? Anyways, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but I'm sure you can feel me, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with me or not. I'm sure you can feel that I'm passionate about this subject. So hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell.